I noticed the other day while sitting in traffic that the leaves are starting to turn, and there were even some leaves on the floor. And that can only really mean one thing: autumn. I don't actually know when autumn actually starts. We're mid-August now, but it's got to be fairly soon. As you across the pond might say, it's called fall. And definitely I think that word's quite apt, because a lot of people start to struggle as you head into winter. People start to struggle with a fall in their motivation, a fall in their mental health, and many other things. You see, the nights are starting to draw in now. It's starting to get dark a little bit earlier every night, and it's definitely a lot more noticeable. The evenings are shorter, the mornings are shorter, and I'm not okay with that. You see, I'm someone who suffers with what they call SAD, seasonal annual depression. Now, I don't suffer with like the pure sense of depression, as it says. I think I have struggled with that over time, over the years. But I definitely struggle with the seasons. So much so that my wife keeps telling me to get one of those lamps that you put next to your bed. I don't know what those can do. Maybe I'll give it a try. But the one thing I don't do, which a lot of people do, is winterize their motorcycle. I plan to ride through winter. And as long as the roads are dry and there's no ice and it hasn't been minus temperatures, I will try and ride. I guess the question is, can riding through winter reduce the effects of SAD, seasonal annual depression? Do you keep riding through the colder months to keep your mental health at bay? Or do you winterize your motorcycle for the 3 to 4 months where it gets really cold? Can motorcycling through the winter really help your mental health and help avoid some of the symptoms of SAD? Let's get on the bike, let's have a talk about that. Have you ever noticed how some people's mood shifts by the seasons? Spring usually gives us more energy, summer feels bright, fall can bring that cozy vibe, but the winter's tough, and less sunlight, it dampens moods and general day-to-day happiness. I grew up in the southern hemisphere, and I can't say that I really noticed the changes in the seasons. I don't remember there being a dramatic shift in daylight hours or even temperatures, but I was younger and I didn't notice many things back then either. It was only when I moved back to Europe that I noticed these changes, and I noticed them more as I get older. Seasonal Affective Disorder, or SAD, is a type of recurring depression that happens at the same time each year, most often in the autumn and the winter when daylight is reduced. It's linked to disruptions in the circadian rhythm and the brain chemicals like serotonin and melatonin, leading to symptoms such as low mood, fatigue, increased sleep, craving for carbs, and social withdrawal. But more simply, it is when our brain decides to go into hibernation mode as soon as the days get darker. But don't worry, it's not just you. The good news is you can fight back with things like light therapy, exercise, getting outside, or riding a motorcycle until spring eventually arrives. My wife says I'm moody as hell in the winter, and I'm definitely starting to notice that. To be honest, I'm moody all year round, but it's more noticeable in the winter, and by January, February, I really do start to struggle with the constant dark, damp, and general crappy weather. Every year, thousands of motorcyclists across the world make the decision to take that last ride. The last ride can often be just before their year's first snow, or before the first frost hits the ground. It all depends on how much the rider is willing to endure before facing the inevitable. Some riders choose to do this earlier, adding fuel stabilizers, hooking the battery up to a tender, and covering over their bikes and putting them into a self-imposed hibernation. Chris Ironheart created a brilliant short film all about the last ride, which encapsulates it very well. I implore you to go check it out. I'll put the link in the description. See, most riders hold out as late as possible before eventually giving in to the weather, and this gives the rider a peek into what it would be like to give up riding altogether. I'm guessing that many motorcyclists suffer with SAD as a result, as they yearn for the first sign of spring to get the bike back out to play. But not all countries face the same issues. For example, in Northern Europe, there is no way you'd be able to ride through the winter months just due to the fact that they get covered in snow. Finland, for example, is covered anywhere from 3 to 7 months of the year. You're not riding in that even if you wanted to. But for the rest of us that have a more temperate climate, where snow is rare, but rain is more of a thing, but with the right gear there is no reason to give up riding. Sure, you may not get to ride as often, but the days when the night temperatures have not dropped below 0 degrees Celsius, reducing the risk of ice, and when it's not raining, why would you not take the opportunity to ride? We all know the mental health benefits of riding your motorcycle, and there's been enough talk about this. So why would you not use it as a tool when you need it most, during the winter? Riding a motorcycle in the winter can do wonders for your headspace. It helps fight those winter blues. Being outside, catching some fresh air and soaking up a little daylight can boost your mood when everything feels dark and cold. It can help with the cabin fever a lot of us feel in the colder months. Riding through the winter, or even all year round, forces you to be the moment, even more so when the roads are damp, cold and slippery. This can really help take your mind off day-to-day issues, and in particular how shitty the weather is, and how that house in southern Spain looks awfully tempting right now. Plus the roads are so much quieter. Riding through the winter can help remove the urge to endlessly scroll Instagram or Facebook or binge watch the latest program on Netflix. It can get you out of the house and into nature and really change your mindset and how you cope with the colder months. There are some that say you are not a real biker if you don't ride all year round, a fair weather rider if you will, but I call bullshit on that. Riding a motorcycle is dangerous as it is, and through the unpredictable weather and long darkness the risk increases massively during the winter. So there are some people that make the choice not to take that risk. Maybe it's for their family or other reasons, and who are we to judge? The key to riding through the colder months is to make sure you have the right gear. Being cold and wet is super dangerous, but with the right gear and conditions, the ride can be as enjoyable as a summer ride. There's a brilliant quote by Alfred Wainwright: "There's no such thing as bad weather, only unsuitable clothing," and this has never been more true for a motorcycle rider riding through winter. So I'm not going to stop riding this winter, and I've never stopped riding through winter, but this season I'm going to make more of an effort to get out more. You see, our struggle was sad, as I already said, and riding through the colder months I believe this can help reduce a lot of the symptoms. As I said, there are greater risks to riding in the winter. Being cold can distract you more than drinking alcohol, but for me I think the mental health benefits outweigh the risk, and as long as I ensure I dress for the slide and the ride, I should be okay. So are you going to ride through the winter? Or are you already preparing for the inevitable ritual of winterizing your motorcycles? Do let me know. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.